Never, ever, ever had that happen, but it crashed. Okay, had a little sip of this drink here. Good old sun toddy. So anyway, back to what I was saying. My thoughts on, Japan as a whole. Like I said, it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place to visit, and it's probably just amazing. Like if you're a Japanese person that lives here, like it doesn't seem like for the most part you have anything else that you really need. I mean, because like I said, everybody's Japanese, so everybody's looking out for everybody else. Now, of course, there's gonna be some income inequality and all those kinds of issues, but everybody that's on the bottom is probably a more cohesive thing for the working class than it is, in the states, because even there, you've got that middle class with that disdain, that extreme disdain for the lower class. And I mean, everything that's like that in the states is it's all done for a reason. You have to pit the middle class against the lower class. That's why that's why taxes are the way that they are, and that's why everything's played out the way that it's played out. You've got all the racial stuff that goes on in the U.S. You got to keep everybody from having cohesion, which is why everybody everybody suffers. I'm sure the average person in the states probably don't enjoy their lives much as an average person here in Japan. Japanese person, that is. I said people, people from the states and other places, even when they come here, they have like pity stories. I think that might just be a thing with Americans, because the people that have the real shitty stories about coming to Japan are people from like the Philippines. They come here thinking that they're gonna do better than they were in the Philippines, and they're gonna be able to send some money home and all that stuff. But then they get there, and the boss confiscates that passport, tells them they gotta pay. Oh well, or room and board's coming out of your pay, and anything else you need, your food, so on and so forth. And then they literally are in debt the whole time, and sending money home is not going to happen. Even just having money for yourself is not going to happen. So those are the real horror stories in Japan. Most of the stuff that happens to people like Americans that are in Japan that they complain about, they did it to themselves. Like, you came over here to be an English teacher. That was the easiest way to live, like to be able to live over here. Come over for more than your little 90-day visa. And you're not gonna make great money. Like the satisfaction of the job is gonna be very low. Nobody takes the shit seriously. uh you're gonna be treated probably badly by your Japanese coworkers, and like, but you made that sacrifice because you wanted to live in Japan, and it was the easiest way to do so. I believe that coming from the States, the only really viable way to do it is if you already have a good job with a good company, and you're able to work in Japan for your company. Now, I mean, there's outliers, stories of, I stopped at a business I saw in a video before. This guy, this American guy, I stopped at his place. Now, obviously, he's been in business for 30 years or something like that. So I mean, you can do it, but your chances are far and few in between. Um, but yeah, I mean, Japan's amazing if you're Japanese to live. I would imagine. But then again, like I said, they could feel a different way. Uh, they could feel like there's like the social pressure is a lot more. That's always a thing that you hear as a Japanese people. You hear that from like Americans telling stories about Japanese people. I guess they might be trying to find reasons to say that Japan isn't great. Like, there's at least something bad about it. The social pressure. But that social pressure kind of leads to the cohesion that I was talking about earlier. Everything just works as a well-oiled machine. I mean, because you can see it even from, like you see how, I mean, there is a kind of sameness. It does create a kind of sameness, from everybody that you'll see. Like, you'll witness that firsthand. And, there is that saying that they have, and the nail that sticks up gets hammered down, so on and so forth. So, yeah, there is some of that. But it doesn't promote like that. There's just something that's different that's promoted in the US especially, that's just like the opposite of this. And it kind of irritates me because I have a kid that is growing up, and like I look at these kids here, like, I this is like I'd much rather my kid be like these children. It just seems like they're even more well put together. Like, there's just no excuses for shit. Like there is in the States. Everything like even if something happens, even my own kid, if something happens, the mom is like making excuses. And I'm like, no, 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 nope. There's no excuses. There's things that need to be taken care of, and so on and so forth. Um, I do, you know, uh, I see it differently. But this is just like some thoughts that I've got about just. I said it's just an outsider looking in from a very close view. Um, I said amazing place. I'd bet if if I was Japanese and I lived here, it'd probably be like pretty good. Even if I lived in like a more simple area than Tokyo, which I mean, a lot of other places I went to, just like more simple areas. I mean, Osaka here in Kyoto, simple. Noda, simple. Countryside. It's not that far from Tokyo, but still, it's nice, slow, but obviously, if I had been born Japanese in Japan, my my expectations in life would be different because everything else would be different. But my expectations in life is exactly why I cannot live in Japan. Like, I got my fucking cars. I couldn't have my cars if I lived here. And my cars is part of the reason that I get up in the morning. So it's part of the reason why I go to work. People can act like having, like, oh man, I got a kid and all this other shit. I'm like, I wouldn't have had a kid until I could fucking afford to do everything I can fucking do before having a kid. So, yeah, life standards. They're going to be a certain place. And I'm not really trying to do anything that's going to harm that fact. Almost sneezed. I mean, it's getting late. It's getting cold out here. It's like in the 70s during the day, up to the 70s, and it's been mid 70s and shit. But 50s at night. I believe it's 50 something right now. It's got to be 50 something because it is fucking cold. And you know what? It's funny because I was worried about coming to Japan this time of the year, thinking it was gonna be like fucking cold as hell. I mean, I know it was cold before I started. When I left, it was cold at home. I got here, it was fucking 75. I'm like, yeah. And all I've been hearing about is, oh, it's cold. It's cold. And it's not really cold here. I mean, it's cold right now here, but and I'd imagine that it's going to be probably getting cooler. I mean, here until the end of the month. So, in a while, it'll be probably cool here, even during the daytime. By the time I leave, but yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm just glad this change of scenery is, it's always good. I love seeing like cities and stuff like this. Ward over here in Osaka. And then, of course, it's just so much amazing shit to see. And it's just like, you think about Japanese people and that live in these places. Like I went to Osaka Castle earlier. And, like these people, they have amazing stuff to see, like on an everyday basis. Like there isn't anything that great to look at in the States outside of the Southwest and fucking Colorado. Like, aside from that, throw it all away as far as having like shit to look at. And I've been all over that thing aside from the very northeast. And I have no desire to go to like fucking Maryland and Maine and fucking Rhode Island and fuck all of that trash. And I'm not saying that just to say it. Like, there's literally, like, Baltimore. It sounds like it's a fucking shithole. And I would probably have to deal with, like, fucking police being police. Like, why the fuck would I even want to go there? Like, New York. I mean, I went to New York to take, just for this trip. I had to go to New York. Did plan to spend all day in New York because I wanted to get, like, a New York pizza and, all this stuff, which didn't happen because I didn't get to get on my fucking standby flight. But, yeah, that sucked. But really, New York is, I mean, I wanted to see Times Square and all that stuff because I hadn't been there. But that also sounds like a shithole. Like there's just crazy ass people walking around just acting however the fuck they want to act. And you like as a law abiding citizen, you can't have a fucking weapon to protect yourself. So, and then, that I'm sure that's a place where police do fucking bullshit as well. So why the fuck would I want to go there for any more than I have to? Same thing with Chicago. You can't protect yourself. Gotta let the criminals win. So uh, I'm quite good on a lot of that shit. And then you know if I pull up the book of faces and that shit, there'll be some stories from the local news stations that, oh yeah, this person got shot and that person got shot. I'm like, oh man, if only it were feasible to live here and not lose what I fucking have. That'd be great. But you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Life is just compromises, and unless you're 1%er, then there is no compromise. You just do whatever the fuck you want to do. Kill some people, get away with it. Yeah, you'll be all right. Kill the wrong person, you might have to do a little bit of time, or you might actually get a record, but maybe you won't do time. Eh, eh. So, anyway, yeah, that's gonna be it for now. I do have some videos that I'm gonna post on the channel. I did some talking stuff like this, but too many times they were interrupted because I needed a camera for something. I mean, I got a real camera to take some pictures, but I also wanted to get some stuff on my phone so it could be easily posted as opposed to, taking out the SD card from the camera and doing all that shit, putting it on the PC and yada, yada, yada. So, yep, that's going to be it. It is too cold to continue, so I will see you later. Hey, we got people. Oh man, right when I decided I was gonna go ahead and end this, we got some people listening to me talk. Getting cold out here. I'm gonna call it a night. I'll be doing this again before I leave. We'll have some introspection. This trip out here. But Osaka, Hanazuno. All right, later.